The idea for a different kind of housing for the greater New Haven aging population began to flower in 1966. The atmosphere was ripe for change. Federal, state, and municipal governments started massive building and highway projects with the hope of injecting adrenaline into struggling cities. Such thinking galvanized young, ambitious urbanites. One of them, Jim Vlock, a New Haven businessman and community leader, had heard that there was federal money for a higher standard of moderate-income senior housing. He brought in the architect Charles Moore, dean of the Yale School of Architecture, who understood the importance of an innovative approach. Charles Moore was hired. In an era where traditional thinking was being turned on its head, the founders of the towers took a hard look at how the country was treating its older citizens. They wanted better.
I got involved in something like Tower One because I wanted to do something in the community. I had been active in the Jewish community and also in the New Haven community, and I was a member of Dick Lee's so-called kitchen cabinet. And there was great redevelopment going on in New Haven, more so than any city of its size in the country. And I mentioned to Dick Lee that I had heard that there was money available for senior housing as sponsored by a nonprofit, and let it go at that. And I went back to my office after meeting Dick Lee this particular day, and there was a message called Mayor Lee. So I called Mayor Lee. He said, there's a lot of money available, we can get some, and you have to find a nonprofit sponsor in 2 days. And I went to the Jewish Community Council and presented and told them it wouldn't cost a penny. It would be all handled through government funding, and they agreed to go ahead and sponsor this.
Word reached the federal government that the innovative housing for senior citizens had been created in New Haven. Senator Frank Church visited Tower One, and Jim Vlock and Linda Cantor were invited to testify in front of the Senate Committee on Aging. The founding group felt strongly that Tower One was setting a new standard and a new approach to housing for seniors.
When people arrived at the towers, we knew every person and every history. I was very strong on the concept of having a dining room. HUD had never had a dining room, didn't quite know where to put it in the budget, so we kept it separate. There are 2 programs which we created and worked wonderfully. One was called the Tuck-In program. The other program was a sign that was put on the door and it said, "I'm okay." And there was a volunteer on each floor who went around at 9 o'clock in the morning to check that everyone had put out their "I'm okay" sign.
Growing old is not for sissies. There's the loneliness, the concerns about safety. Moving into the towers makes these concerns disappear. Sylvia Rifkin grew up in New York and moved to New Haven after she married.
I moved from my big 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment to 1 room in Tower One, and it was the most traumatic experience I've ever had. But now, this is my home. This is my community. And I feel very safe here and happy. And of course, it's due to having made some wonderful friends, both residents and staff people. And so I am quite contented now. And life is as good as it can be at age 94.
Janie Holmes was the tower's first director, which was groundbreaking in itself.
I was working at Charles Moore's office, and Danny Vlock, Jim Vlock's son, was working there, and he said to me one day, "They need you at Tower One." So I came over here and I just loved it. It was exciting, and I thought, this will be a nice temporary place. Well, temporary lasted 19 years. One of my fondest memories of one of our residents and the sense of community here was we had an Irish Catholic woman, Mrs. Gallagher, who attended the services each Friday night. And she'd be sitting there with her rosary, Bible, and yarmulke. And one day I said, Miss Gallagher, I can talk to the priest and I can ask him if he could arrange for transportation for you to go to the Catholic services. And she says, oh, my dear, that's not necessary. Church is church.
Engaging in stimulating and creative activities, both inside and outside the towers, kept residents active. It also gave them an all-important sense of purpose. The towers offered residents participation in a chorus, in creative writing, in painting, in physical fitness, and more. The towers provided movies, religious services, guest lectures, a library, a beauty salon, and many cultural activities in the city of New Haven. Isadora Judah, affectionately known as Izzie, fled the Nazis in 1938 and eventually created a life for himself in Connecticut. Social and gregarious, he came to the towers a bit reluctantly, and he rarely looks back.
Living here is a wonderful life if you want to make it that way. I personally came from Florida, and I had to get readjusted, but I adjusted very quickly. And I'm involved in a lot of things here. I'm on the board of directors for the association. I'm on the religious committee. I was just put on another committee for the betterment of the tower. And I play cards one night. I take the duty at the front desk. I go to the lectures. You can be as busy as you like to be here. And I enjoy living here now because my daughter is close by. I see my grandchildren, great-grandchildren more often. And circumstances change things, and that's what you do.
Dorothy Giannini Myers, who gained valuable experience working for an organization that helped older people stay in their community, assumed directorship in 1989. Dorothy has helped residents who had frailties and disabilities stay in their apartments.
Things had changed here, and the residents who moved in 20 years ago were now 20 years older. And many of them were experiencing various kinds of functional declines that forced them to go to nursing homes. And for me, that was terrible. That was terrible because there were fixes for that. We put together a strategic plan, we brought in a home care agency, and little things like helping somebody prepare their dinner or clean their apartment made it possible for them to stay in their home. And my goal was to make this place the kind of place that I'd want my parents to come to. And came to pass that my father died, and my husband, my brother, and I moved Mom into Tower 1. And she spent 7 years here. And there were 7 good years. And I feel very good about being able to have made that happen for her and for all the other people that came after her.
The changes that took place during Dorothy's leadership would usher the towers into a future where aging in place was an important focus. Residents who had suffered life-altering illnesses were now able to survive and thrive at the towers. Arlene Davis Rudd was living at home when she suffered a massive stroke that paralyzed her left side.
I lost control of my legs, and I had to look for another place to stay. So I conferred with my friend and colleague, Mayor Tony Harp, who said to discard all the other applications and go to Tower 1. And how happy I have been since I've been here.
A unique atmosphere exists at the towers, one that brings people closer together in ways they never expected. Doris Dimenstein, who is 86, and Fran Walno, 93, are just 2 of the many residents who discovered a renewed sense of purpose and friendship after moving into the towers.
My children came one day to me and said, "Mom, it's time for a change. How about the towers?" Towers? Not me. I'm not ready for that. I was wrong. Here I am at the towers. I leave my apartment approximately 10 a.m. That's morning, and to about 8 p.m. evening. I volunteer my time, whatever they need me to do. Fran, we're always together.
And we have a good time.
We sure do. Fran, I only knew you by name, but I did not know you personally. Now we go to lunch, we go to dinners, we go to movies, and we're always together.
And we say good night between 7:30 and 8 p.m.
You're so right, Fran.
Right.
And when I have a problem, Fran, you're always by my side.
And I feel the same way about you. You know, I knew people who were here, and I was sure I would meet others. And here I am. And it was the best decision I made. I'm very happy here. When my husband died, I really thought my life was over. When I came here, it was like a new lease on life. I volunteer for wherever I'm needed. The Towers is a blend of different colors and races. But you know, bottom line, the Towers is a great place to call home.
Professionals see the Towers as a unique model for affordable senior living. Dr. Alan Siegel, a geriatric psychiatrist based in the greater New Haven area, founded the original Alzheimer's Research Unit at Yale New Haven Hospital. He is the chairman of the board of the Towers and has had a professional relationship with them for more than 25 years.
I'm excited to be celebrating 50 years of Tower One, but I'm actually more excited about looking forward for the next 50 years. We've seen a tremendous growth in downtown New Haven. We've seen a revitalization and a return, if you will, from the suburbs to lots of seniors who have decided that being in town makes more sense to them. As we think about the future, I think the opportunity to be more than just Tower One and Tower East, but to really be a center for senior activities for the greater New Haven Jewish community and the greater community at large. The future holds unlimited opportunities, and the Towers represents the center, a focal point where activities can be organized for the entire community. And we think that we're prepared now to serve that role as we look forward to the next 50 years.